And we're live! Hi everyone, welcome to another live reality game shows podcast. Sorry that this is a week late. I'm very bad at responding to messages. But with me is the hero of the season, the fan favorite, Heart of Gold, Kevin. Kevin, how are you doing?
Hey guys, it's Kevin here. But yeah, I'm doing well. It's been a few years living out in Washington D.C. at this point, so not in Michigan anymore. And I guess I'm a working man. I guess somehow, after all I've said and done in surviving Michigan, I was able to land a job. So it's going pretty.
Yeah, he went from breaking hearts to now breaking bank dollars in whatever way he's working. I don't
Fair
think
enough.
anyone in this season is anyone in this cast still in Michigan because I swear everyone's just like either New York or somewhere East Coast. Wait, New York is the East Coast.
It's,
West Coast.
I think it's mostly East Coast or Midwest Chicago. I think everyone at least at this point has been graduated. I know the last cohort from us from All Stars would have been what me, Lucy, and Bree, and then Jesse was a year younger, so give or take,
Yeah,
2022 was the last. Yeah.
yeah. The plan is to get at least one Survivor Michigan player in every state. I
Maybe
mean,
out of
there's
the
over
country.
50 players.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't Shannon like in Dublin somewhere at this point?
I haven't kept up with Shannon at all. I have no idea what's going on in her life.
Yeah, I've heard that she's like an hour bus ride away.
Wow.
So, Kevin, let's get into it. How was your experience on playing All Stars? If you can think back to like what 3 years ago.
Oh yeah. I mean, you saw me. I came in with a plan, and it wasn't like what everyone else came in to win. I came in to break people's hearts, make people cry, probably and try do my best to get them voted out. But for me, I had a blast playing the game that I wanted to play. Going into it. Uh, I think I came out of it, a little bit happier than most. But you might disagree with that, knowing how it ended for me.
I mean, I think it's fair to say you definitely succeeded in your job in breaking hearts and making people cry. Because I say let's get the obvious out of the way. Let's talk about the will vote, since it was your first tribal council. The question on everyone's mind that they're still asking to this day: why?
All right. Well, we'll do the two different paths. Like the one is the crazy Kevin path, and then we'll do the how it came about in my head. So the crazy Kevin path obviously is like a repeat of what I did in season two, breaking what could be considered one of my closest allies and either like blindsiding them peacefully or not so peacefully. And Daniel, now that I remember his name after I forgotten the first episode. Um,
Ah, the second boot.
but
Who
you,
remembers those people?
oh yeah, but I mean, you see it in the episode, right? When I have that conversation with Bailey, she asked me why many, many different times, and at the end of the day, all it comes down to is it's the ultimate betrayal. Um, and for me, I thought it was going to be, a simple blindside. I thought the Red Tribe Sangria was still like going to trust me, but we saw the hoo-ha that happened when Jesse told Leia about, Kevin's flipping.
Yeah, thanks,
But
Jesse.
I still
And thanks,
committed to the
Bailey, for telling
cause.
Jesse.
Oh yeah, Bailey to Jesse to everything goes around whenever Bailey talks or whenever you talk to Bailey. Everyone hears about it, especially when it comes from my mouth. um, but if we're taking the logical path, and there's a few things that weren't shown in the show, and I actually have a little Word document that was like that wasn't part of like the confessionals or anything, but like how I thought about things. And I think one part of it was I even started throwing out to Crouch um, in one of our confessionals together that I'm considering flipping. Right, I don't have any values or ties with the old Sangria tribe because we never went to a tribal council. And then when it came to Bailey, um, I thought about it in my head in a way where if I am to do the flip, because for some odd reason I valued Megan wholeheartedly in my strategy moving forward more so than Will. I saw it about it in two different ways. One, if I were to stick with the trio of Emily B and Will, I don't think those two have the social capital, knowing how people are coming in with the ideas about like the season three cast in particular. that they would be as valuable in relationships compared to a Bailey that I've worked with in the past, Cooper, who is my host and I've known for a lot of years at this point, and Crouch. We were always like amiable, and I felt like they had a lot more to bring than what those two were bringing. And then the second part of why it had to be well is because um, if you think about if I'm to do this flip, if I were to put the vote on Leia, Cooper would be against it and might throw my name out. If I put the vote on Emily B, Bailey probably wouldn't budge because she's a very loyal player, and it might turn against on me. So, from my perspective, if I'm to do this flip, it has to be Will. um, which is crazy as it is. You know, you're voting out your ultimate ally, but how my mind thought about it at the time was there is some reasoning to it somehow.
I mean, to me, watching it did make sense. I'm probably one of the few people that's like, I do get why you voted Will. And it was like, I do think it was a good move because, as we see with the whole friendship alliance, I think Will just would have been an extra number in that. I just don't think people expected to go all crazy.
I didn't expect it to go all crazy and to like stain my whole like Survivor All Stars up until when I got voted out, right? I thought it was like one of those things with like all the crazy that went on in the pre-merge. You know, it would be something in the background of people's minds at that point. But it wasn't the case, unfortunately. And people just, the narrative just took its own storm. Because I mean, like he fought hard. He told that to my face right before tribal, right? And
Yeah, we saw the clip.
oh god, the clip.
Yeah. You broke my heart. Why'd you do that?
I was like, well, I don't value you. Sorry, mate.
Yeah. Not in the game, but in life, maybe.
In life,
I think
we did have a
you're.
relationship, you know, in production.
Yeah, you guys created that cursed challenge of the watermelon challenge that I still hate to this day.
Oh man, yeah. I had blood in my mouth when I was testing that, and we still continue to do it. Don't know. We're
So
crazy.
you had blood in your mouth. Eliza had mono. I'm pretty sure Dale got some sort of concussion banging his head off the table. That
Hmm.
challenge just caused injury at this point.
Yeah, and we had Eric too there.
Oh yeah, Eric Reichenbach. That was a joy
Yep.
challenge.
Oh man. Yeah.
Speaking of all these sicknesses, there's this theory going around that Lucy is the origin of COVID, and then during the
God.
mouth to mouth challenge while you were sick, you gave Jesse COVID or
Oh my
something
god.
along those lines. Because
Oh yeah.
let's
No.
the dare pong challenge, which I hear to this day you still won't let Dylan let down. That you beat him
Oh
in
boy.
beer pong.
Oh man. Yeah, I totally forgot that I even or like I didn't know that he thought that about the challenge. um, but I mean, like Frat Star Kevin, I guess came through, and oh man, I don't know, because I think when I was thinking about that line at the end of it, it was going back to like the cringe season 2 days when you know I was, oh man, a different type of freshman, right? And to circumvent back to the COVID situation of the whole getting Jesse sick, I felt bad. Even you know we discussed about it, and I asked the people like, "Do you guys even want to do this? I'm sure we'll make another cup." But they were like, "No, let's just give COVID to Jesse."
Yeah. I mean, she's only
And
a part-time Survivor player, so it doesn't matter if she's out
yeah,
for like
I
a
think it
day.
helped her out. Yeah, helped her out. She got immunity that what was it, the swap? So
Yeah, I mean, it's because Cooper picked you over her. You seemed better in challenges.
I was killing it at that point. I mean, I think some of my most memorable moments are from the challenges with what like flipping the table or throwing uh the staff. One of them at least in the first challenge after being shirtless. Oh, what else is there? Obviously
Oh
the
yeah, one of the men in
beer pong
shirtless
challenge.
things.
Oh man, I know the Discord people got a kick out of that. Unfortunately, I didn't get
Yeah,
shirtless the rest of the season.
yeah, I'm still kind of pitching like maybe a Survivor Michigan's OnlyFans just to get the revenue up. I mean, you got I
I'm sure if
mean,
you
with
talk
the
to
amount,
other alumni, you'll
I
you'll
mean,
hear about that.
I mentioned it to Ian. I think I said it to Jackson. I might bring it up with Sam and Cooper once they get voted off at some point, which is probably within the next 3 episodes.
Who knows?
They are not making it to the end, and if they do, these people really need to reconsider things. Love them
Hey,
both, but
I said it like, in one of my last, the thing that like caused that last episode, right? I'm just like saying, like, there's three people that are going to win. You guys are making it happen. It's Sam, Cooper, and Bailey. And, I don't know. We'll see if that's to be the case.
yeah, I highly doubt two of them will make it to the end. Cooper's tricky. Cooper, I can see making it to the end. Sam and Bailey, no way. I feel like Bailey's more likely to quit before she makes it to the end with the amount of mental trauma she's giving herself.
Oh, yeah. No, it's watching these episodes and we're just like, these people, like, I probably put in maybe half the amount of mental effort, which probably is another reason why I went out early. But
Yeah, but you went out
I would say
happy.
for the most part, I went out happy. I was in bliss. I was smiling when I got voted out.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing. Don't put too much mental thought into it, and maybe you won't have random emotional breakdowns. I was talking with some people in the Discord, or some people asked me, like, oh, how my opinions of the episode, because apparently they matter. Someone was like, well, how the hell did Kevin survive that long in the merge? And I'm like, he only went to one pre merge tribal. That's why.
Yeah. There's a little
And
bit of
that
luck
one,
involved with that.
I mean, winning pretty much almost every single challenge, part of it's luck, part of it is skill. I mean, that scavenger hunt, that was not easy. So, how many petitions did you get for the Swedish fish are people, not food?
Oh man. Oh, I got laughs. I don't think I got a petition. I wish I had a clipboard on like, my side and got to see how many people, but it got kicks on the what diag and people appreciate it more than I don't know. I didn't see the other two or I don't recall the other two
I know
protests.
Cooper's was impeach Brady as host. I
It's a good
don't
one.
know what Leia's is because I don't really pay attention to her this season.
Oh, oh man. I did not like Leia. I will tell you
Neither
that.
did neither did the majority of the people I talk to.
Oh, yeah. I think talking to other people, it's like we're basically the antithesis to each other, right? Where I will cut basically my closest allies if I need to, or if I think that's a fun thing to do. Whereas Leia's loyal, and at this point, not to a fault, but we'll see that where that takes her.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody knew Leia wasn't winning the moment she was announced as she was on All Stars.
Yeah, but hey, people want to keep her in.
Yeah, I mean, you got an easy vote to win, and if you're on Leia's list, then she's not written in your name.
Uh huh. Oh yeah, you can imagine like being the bottom of like the Leia's list, or not even being on it, and you're like, what can I do about that?
Yeah, you would think that, yet this past episode, not really.
Nope.
I had another question. So you said you had a lot of fun in the challenge moments. Do you have any like challenge moments that like some of your favorites, or maybe some that didn't even make it to air?
Oh man, I all the good challenge moments for me were recorded. One of the fun ones, I guess, that I haven't touched on would have been the memory challenge, right? So after
Ah,
the
after
yeah,
the
so
double tribal incident.
after the double tribal, I was so happy after that. I was a little bit like, disappointed in Jackson's like not listening to me. But I kind of like switched it off after I saw, Cooper and Bailey crying, and I was like, okay, well, it was it was fortuitous in the end, and yeah, I think um, I was surprised like I didn't remember my reaction because when I was doing the challenge, right, there was actually like multiple mistakes in how that challenge was run. One of them being was like they didn't really like change up the patterns for the order of things. It was like, okay, remember row one or row three or row five. And so when it came to like my second attempt, I've already done
Uh,
that same row and remembered it. So that's why I was like to Brady, hey, I know this one already. You gave it to me earlier. Why do you have
I
to make
know
me
this
run all the way?
more production stuff. I mean, production's been very on point this season with all the leaks and questionable decisions. We all remember Abbygate.
Oh yeah, never forget Abbygate. I, I
Yeah,
I think I was like one of the later people to realize, or I don't know, because the timeline for that is kind of confusing. I know Sam told me, and that's a funny one because of for like to keep your torch the podcast. That was when season two was airing, and so
yeah,
the episode I got voted out in is when I came over to Sam's, and that's when he released to me, oh, there's this relationship, and I was absolutely like jaw dropped, couldn't believe
yeah.
it.
You just watched yourself play a fake idol despite having a real idol, and like 20 minutes later, oh yeah, Jackson and Megan are dating.
Yeah,
What was that
and it's just
like?
like,
Oh,
go
are you about
ahead.
to say?
And it's not important. So,
Oh,
what
I
did
was
I
just
think
gonna
about
say,
Jackson and Megan?
yes, I was also gonna ask, what was it like playing Survivor while watching yourself play Survivor?
Sure. Yeah, I'll touch on that one first.
Yes.
It's kind of surreal. Well, it was kind of unfortunate in my case, right? Because people are seeing like the snarky comments you're making in your confessionals, um, the meanness, right, to the extent of it. So it didn't really help my case, going into All Stars and as well as playing it. So it kind of like put me in a mood of like, wow, it's like going back into my old character self from season one, except a little bit better, you know, fully committed to the bit. Um, but yeah, I mean, like coming into the season, I had a lot going against me with, people remembering season two and watching at the same time. And then I don't know if you heard about the Dear Kevin Hansen 4.5 incident where I gave up my gain for Playbill.
I haven't seen the full 4.5 video yet, but you what? Gave up your game for what?
So I made it to the merge, and I think it's around final seven or final eight. And at this point, I'm just kind of getting bored of the game because it's been going on for a really long time. And so I basically suicide my game to Chloe
Nothing
because
new.
she's freaking out. Suicide, or like, yeah, she's freaking out, and she's going to see like a musical in New York. And I think at the time, and even to this day, like I've been collecting playbills, and I was like, I guess I'm interested in one from New York. And I was like, well, if you give me it, I'll throw my game away for you and go from there.
I mean, it worked out. She ended up winning 4.5.
It helped her case, and I got a playbill out of it. So I think we're both winners in that respect.
Yeah, the stories that you hear about these 2.5 and 4.5s, like, I kind of want to be part of one. I need to get in contact with Nick again to talk about whatever season's airing point 5. Like, hey, can I
Hmm.
go on this? I can be his Whooper, or whatever Cooper calls them in
I,
2.5.
I think it would be, I think, really cool to do like fans versus favorites of like
I
online
mean, why?
Survivor, or like,
Yeah, I mean, you'll have fans that'll idolize the Michigan players, and the Michigan players will get to feel like celebrities for about 20 minutes.
right, until they get voted out. Because
Yeah, until it turns into actual fans versus favorites, where all the fans go home and it's just a favorites game to win.
uh-huh. Yeah. I actually ran, what was it, 9.5 over the
Oh,
last summer.
nice.
It's either 8.5 or 9.5. Uh, I wasn't the one leading it. It was AJ Adam, but co-host, producer, ran a few challenges, that sort of deal. So,
Definitely a lot easier than playing, I'm assuming.
oh, I always loved production more than playing. I will say that.
Yeah, I've been in a few cases where it's like, I just rather help out, make a season than actually play one. I mean, it's fun for like the first hour, but then after a while you get tired and you're like, ugh,
Hmm.
it's so draining. I mean, we saw that a lot this episode. We saw a lot of people being like, I have life outside of school. I mean, outside of Survivor, but it's taken up by Survivor. Did you ever have those moments about where it's just like, I want to do real life things, but Survivor's getting in the way.
No, I was pretty good with the what it was like Survivor work-life balance, if we want to call it that. Mostly
Survivor
because
work thing.
yeah. Well, I think having only gone to tribal once in the pre-merge helped a lot. And then my idea like going into the merge was right, I'm gonna put all my eggs in in one basket in Bailey because she's pretty much all I have at this point, right? And that's why when the Nick vote occurred and the rest of us piled it on Sam, I wanted to do as little as possible to impact that week, which is like odd. But that's because I knew like if I went crazy, I could have been an easy victim for like the first merge boot, right? And so I thought if I, put my hands back, don't do anything, just accept what Bailey told me to do, uh, it would work out in the end. But wasn't involved in the other plan, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately, you weren't a part of Bailey flipping on her alliance that she created like 3 days before.
Oh my god. Yeah. I couldn't believe it when I watched it back because I heard like bits and pieces over the years, and I was like, how did that happen? And the fear mongering, the emotional gameplay.
As much as people are saying like Bailey's playing a horrible game, I'm sorry, but the fact that you can create an alliance and then immediately flip on it just to create another alliance, that takes some skill.
Oh no, it does. Like I can't blame her. Like what I saw from her like this season, and like even in the season itself was like she had an extensive like level of social capital with like a lot of players, um, including myself, right? And so I guess like she could pull through it however way she wanted without little to no repercussion. But it did, give people a sour taste in their mouth, including me, right? I said she was dead to me.
Yeah. I mean, you pretty much voted for her despite her having immunity. Now, I have to ask, did everyone just forget she won immunity or
I think so. Yeah,
so did
I think so.
so you actually forgot like she won immunity and that's why you voted for her? Because everyone's just like, oh
I,
no,
I,
Kevin did it on purpose.
I think so. Like the Keep Your Torch podcast, like the answer I gave was like I don't remember, but I think character me at the time probably didn't know. I think I had a few drinks in me at this point, and I was just
Naturally.
going off the cuff, right? And so I was trying to make it a celebration, or how I said it, like what, like a funeral, a wedding funeral, or some sort of thing, right? Oh man,
Dan's funeral.
and it's funeral. Yeah, I wish I could have pulled a Dan Giesling funeral. That would have been something, but I was there was no way that was going to work out for me. Um, but
I mean, who knows? Some of these people are gullible enough.
that's true. Yeah, I wish. If one thing, I wish I could have, maybe utilized the idea that people were thinking like I had an idol a little bit better. Um, I was just more pissed off about the situation because I don't know. There was multiple scenarios where I should have used my own idol if I had one. um, and yeah, that narrative just like sprung up really bad.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was convinced you had the illustrious Pringle idol that to this day we still don't know who has. We've narrowed it down to two people for the past, let's see, we're on episode 10 now. 7 weeks. It's almost been 2 months and we
Oh
still
yeah,
don't know who has it. I mean, there was a period of
yeah.
time in the editing where we thought you had the idol in that whole
Hmm.
cliffhanger episode.
Oh yeah, the cliffhanger episode. Man, it would have been great if I had it. Although I don't know that like the whole like scenario of the double tribal council. I've been asked, like would I have given a Jackson a real idol? I think yes. Like knowing me at the time, just because I thought it would have been like fun, right? Now, I think he even thought about like pocketing it because he thought it was safe. But I don't know. Maybe he would have gone with my plan if I gave him an actual idol, and also not a fake idol that Adam gave me that Megan saw previously.
Yeah,
So,
that Megan just happened to recognize in Adam's room, and Adam could
oh
not
yeah, I thought
respond properly.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope Megan gets a lot of credibility for that because like it's
Oh, the
hard.
fans
It's like,
love Megan.
oh yeah, yeah. Because like I've seen comments of, why didn't Jackson, vote the way I told him to, and I think there's like more than a good amount of slew reasons of like, not trusting me, um, then the fake idol situation, and then he also didn't have enough time to comprehend like if he was the only one that knew all the votes because I think he at most had like an hour or two to figure that out. Um, but who knows? I wish Cooper got voted out. I think that would have been I would have lasted a lot longer in the game if that happened.
The drama if Cooper went right before the merge. I mean, to be fair, he gave you a fake advantage, so it's like it's 50-50 there.
And it's 50-50. Yep. I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't even
Speak.
expect to get it.
I mean, he had a plethora. I mean, Jackson was busy making fake everything, fake idols, fake advantages, fake breakups. Speaking of Jackson and Megan, let's talk about the Axis of Evil alliance that was just very threatening for everyone, and how
Get it.
everyone is saying the amount of people whose game tanked because of this Axis of Evil alliance that was not real, according to literally everyone in it.
Yeah.
Let's hear your side of the story as the creator of the Axis of Evil.
Oh my god. Yeah. It goes back to Bailey again. You know, uh in that room where, I flip out a will, I'm telling her like these are my people. I'm basically laying all of myself to Bailey. And what happens because of that? Well, a curse is placed on basically everyone associated with this alliance because I somehow showed her texts that this alliance existed as a group before, when in reality, I was somewhat texting Aaron, kind of texting Megan, not even texting Jackson. So it's amazing how like the stuff that comes out of my mouth just kind of takes a world of its storm. And it's just amazing to me like how people saw it threatening, um, when there was a lot more scarier players than the ones listed in the Axis of Evil. I don't think it was even necessarily that evil, right?
I don't know, it
I
wasn't.
mean,
I
I
mean, it
guess
came. The
it
Sam
was.
was the Sam. The name was thought of by Sam. So
Uh huh.
I mean,
Yeah.
when you look at you, Aaron, Jackson, and Megan, the first thing you think is evil and threatening.
Of course.
Not
Yeah.
looking at Cooper or Sam or who's a third threatening person. I can't think of a
Like
third one.
threatening. Leia's kind of threatening, as
Leia's
in
threatening
both in.
IRL, not game wise.
There it is. Yep.
So yeah, the amount of people that are saying like, so why do you think your game failed, Kevin?
Kevin. I have the list right. Like basically, like I
Yeah,
I wasn't able to. I thought about this, and I'm basically a black hat. If you think about it, if you are
if you're
associated by
somewhat
me with me,
in any way, you go home.
you go home. Look at season two and like what Daniel, um, uh,
Bailey,
Bailey, Sarah,
Sarah
Avery.
Avery, you,
Yep. Me, yep. And then in this season, what's the list, right? Um,
Aaron,
Will, Aaron,
Will,
Jackson,
Jackson, Sarah, now,
Sarah. Yeah. I mean, like, what was it?
Nick.
Was it Bailey's 8, right? I think they made a little poster
It was
movie of it,
ori-
right?
yeah, it was originally Bailey 7 with the idea of Andrew leaving, but then when Andrew stayed, it was an 8 Bailey's 8 based off of like I think Ocean's 8.
Yes, Ocean's 8. Yeah. So
So
who
soon
knows?
all those people.
Maybe everyone there.
I mean, I think you've been associated with everyone in this game so far
Yeah.
because like you had
I
everyone in
think
Bailey's 8, and I think the
uh
only who's someone that you haven't really been associated with yet.
uh, it arguably, I don't know. Trying to
Cooper?
think. And we voted together for Will, technically.
No. Then yeah, I think you cursed everyone.
I've cursed everyone. Nobody's gonna win this season. Not even the
No.
viewers because they had to watch me.
I mean, after this last episode, the viewers definitely did not win.
Oh, they did not. I was in
No.
vacation when I saw it, and it was just like, knowing what happens, I don't think you guys are gonna be happy.
Yeah, and people were not. I mean, we can quickly talk about it since you were there witnessing it live
Hmm.
about the whole friendship alliance.
Oh, it's the friendship alliance is brutal. It's like it was hard, I think, because in my notes I kind of like noticed it pretty early on, and then you touch on it a little bit when I'm talking about bears and flies with Adam. Um, where I don't know, it seemed like this very obvious entity that was like growing as a storm and it really got into fruition once that merge vote hit after, Nick, and then me, and Sarah, right? Um, Not saying we're friends with them, but like they're, from the perspective of the game and a little bit in real life, if you want to take it that way, are a lot closer, right? Um, and it's just, you know, it was not like a pagonging of like a tribe, right? One tribe, made it all the way together to the merge and then started like killing off everyone else. It was like a pagonging of, these people who are like really close inside and outside the game, more so than the rest of us. Um, and I mean, I can't blame him for it. It's a strategy, but I don't think you know it's a lot of fun, right? For me,
Yeah.
I'm playing like a college survivor, right? The stakes are very minimal, unless you care about like the pride as a winner or $50 at the end. And so
$50?
I
Come
was
on,
hoping for more.
Michigan.
I think it was 100 for all stars, maybe.
Okay, that makes that should be the regular
Well, not quite.
production. Up your price a bit.
Yeah. So
Oh, well, can I say they're college people?
yeah, we're poor. We're trying to make ends
Yeah,
meet.
yeah. Not everyone can be Matthew and just offer $50 to help win an immunity.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh, that was so fun. I was dying producing that challenge because I had to follow. I forgot who I had to follow. I was one of the runners and I couldn't keep pace.
Yeah, who did you have to follow? Well, it wasn't Dale because Lucy was helping Dale win the challenge. So we
Hmm.
narrowed it down to three others.
I don't remember. That one's too far gone, and I was
Nah, it's season
panting
4.
by
Nobody
the end of
likes
it.
that season.
Yeah. It has its own. I've seen people like it, or like I've seen comments of people even saying, season 4 is better than All Stars right now.
That's only because of this past episode. One episode.
Oh yeah,
Still, to me, hands down, season 2 is the best season.
thank you.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm not just saying that because you're here. I've been saying it since I've seen it.
fantastic. It's a good character driven one.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, also it's a lot of great players. I mean, Lucy was the first season 2 person to be voted off, and that was like a good part into the season.
yeah.
Then we just had a straight
I,
massacre of people in a row, and then
oh
thankfully
god,
Sarah broke the pattern.
yeah, yeah.
Well, less
No,
thankfully.
yeah. It was like a minor conversation point. Like, oh wow, season 2, making it super far. I thought that was crazy, but hey, there's a reason why we made it all the way because it's either we're good Survivor players or people like us.
Yeah, I mean, you made it all the way for there for a reason. Whether it be
Oh yeah.
challenge prowess, crazy gameplay, people keeping you because you're an easy target, it's still reasons to still be there.
Hmm.
And a lot more
I was
entertaining what's currently happening.
Yeah. I was really hoping other people would have taken the consideration of instead of me being an easy vote, I'm an easy person to tag along all the way to a final tribal council. I'm not really that threatening in the grand scheme of things, and people even thought that themselves. Like, I don't know.
But you weren't on Leia's list. And if you're not
Not
on
on
the
the
list, you
list.
go home. You're not in the
Yeah.
friendship alliance. It worked for Big Brother Canada, not Big Brother Canada, Big Brother 6, and it's not working for Michigan.
Nope.
Going to say something else. But I really should have done my research. Um, so damn, I had a question in my head and then I forgot it. I swear this is professional.
All right.
Oh, no wonder I forgot. Let's talk about Emily.
Oh boy. I was about to
Now
make a
you
comment.
so you had some words about her, very small, very faint. A lot of people tend to agree.
I saw the comments in like that episode where it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean she's backseat Bachman for a reason.
Backseat Bachwig. I should have coined
Thanks, I
that
came
one.
up. Thanks, I came up with that.
Good one, yeah. Yeah. I came up with calling her an NPC, so you know.
Just yeah, that makes sense. I feel like her so viewing it as she was pretty much saying you don't know my game, which is pretty much a player that says, "Oh, you'll know my game once you watch it." Watching it, do you still have the same opinions?
It's we play different games, right? Um, I think I'll keep it at that. I think it's a game that you know, playing in it, I didn't really respect because I'm not a fan of inaction and letting things flow. um, like, and I think like she had, you know, a lot of cards in her hands like to do something. And I mean, I think like she was a player that could afford to take the risk. Like when I proposed it to her, even though I kind of came about it very mean in front of her face. Um,
I mean,
but I mean,
sometimes you
like
have to
she
be
would have had
blunt
to.
to get it through people's head.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was super blunt to people. You know, I was kind of transparent to a fault at points too. You know, so uh, I think I respect the game a little bit more, being able to see back and like what she's provided. Uh, but it depends on like how she can play her cards, like you know, seeing the future. Because I don't think when I was on the jury, you know, I've taken out of the equation that I wanted to see like I would not have voted for Emily B. Um, but she was definitely not going to get a vote if she just coasted all the way there and pretty much sat on the back of Bailey and did nothing, right? Because a part of that was 4.5, um, as well as like in her season three, it's like a lot of people were playing the same game, like myself included. Um, and I don't know, for me to respect Emily B at that point was, you know, you can afford to take the risk now because you never have, and I don't think people would, you know, be against your throat because I think like if she was able to make it, people would respect her. I think that like us as the rejects, like would have been like, oh yeah, hey, this is great. We'll keep you along. So I think all in all, um, she's. It's hard to say. I think like she's good at making it far, but will we see her you know, shine and make a big move? I don't know. We'll see.
I'm thinking just picturing her going to make a big move, and then when she does, that's when she gets voted off. 'Cause that's usually the pattern. Like I see the
It's
same thing
usually
with Adam. Because I see the same thing with Adam. Like I see him constantly saying, "I'm going to target Sam," and then one time he targets Sam, that's when he's going to go home.
yeah, because he. I mean, he could never. He hasn't been able to at this point, and I don't know if it's been thrown at him, but it's like a lot of these people in their heads keep on throwing out like voting out their closest ally. I mean, a lot of people are kind of similar to me. I just did a lot earlier of like AJ wants to vote out Sam, Emily B wants to blindside Bailey, right? Um,
Andrew wants to take out Cooper.
right? And we keep on saying it, and you know, I was able to do it. Who knows if these people will be able to do it? Because, right? It goes back to: are we going to see emotional gameplay like succeed, or are we going to see like strategic gameplay succeed?
Yeah, and this could just be me not having high hopes for majority of these people or high expectations, but I just don't see it happening. I mean, so far things have not been going well for Emily advantage wise because she has a questionable idol and as well the horrible advantage of voting someone after you get voted off.
Mm-hmm.
Which, no offense to Austin, the phantom vote advantage was great, but this advantage is you could use a few tweaks.
It could use a few tweaks. Yeah, and there could have been a more fitting way to do revenge if you're voted out.
Yeah,
But there
I
should
think they'll
also be
leave.
like an advantage to you in the game, you know, at the current point.
Yeah, I mean, it's some way to affect the game, like get your revenge on someone, but I think it should be rather than cast a vote right after you got voted off, cast it with everybody else at the next tribal, so you can like see.
Yeah. I think Thorns would have been interesting. I don't know if that's an advantage ever been done, but you can think of it like you play it like an idol, but the people who voted for you get to vote against themselves instead of against you. I don't know if
Oh,
that's
so like a
overpowering.
flipper idol. Oh, like a flipper idol.
A flipper idol?
Yeah,
I've
that's
never
a
heard
twist in another in an org that I saw where the vote flips. So let's
that.
say for the Will vote where it was 5-3, if let's say Will played the flipper idol, it would flip to 5-3 you.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, okay. That's a fun one.
So where it like literally goes reverse. So like let's say you're one vote for Bailey and you played the flipper idol, then like right,
All
Bailey
the votes go
now
to
has.
Bailey. Yeah.
I'm surprised more people don't actually do that. Like, still vote for the person that gains immunity. It's like for
I mean,
some
yeah.
reason my hand would only write down her name.
I mean, Leia voted for herself that tribal too, but Matthew caught that one.
Yeah, I'm convinced like y'all were on something that tribal.
I mean, yeah, I think a lot of us were. I think,
Yeah,
I mean, after we only had 48 hours to figure it out, people were just having a fun go at it, and I kind of, ruined people's days and made them laugh, with all my antics there. I mean, I think I called it basically everyone that wasn't a reject or on the bottom at that tribal council.
oh, so
Um,
everybody in the friendship group.
Everyone in the friendship group. Some more targeted than others, right? Sam, Cooper, Bailey, Tack, Bree, because I was like, you do nothing. Emily B, you're irrelevant. Leia, you don't like to play the game.
Leia, why bother?
Why bother?
To be honest, I'm kind of waiting for her to quit at this point, and I'd be much happier if she does that. Like, can you just
She's
quit
got to write a
already?
thesis.
I know she has to make it through. That's the only reason she's in this season, so she can come up with something for this stupid thesis that she was going on about.
I don't know. Yeah.
Do you have
Yeah.
any thesis about Survivor on why lying and breaking your friendship's hearts is good for you?
Oh, no, 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 not at all. I don't recommend the game that I played. I think you can still be. I think like if you want an example of maybe good evil gameplay, I think like Sam is a good perspective of that. In my perspective, like he's been a villain up until this point, right? Of what he did to like Aaron and Dylan and Akshay into the pre-merge, and the way he's been able to manipulate people. That's
I mean,
the that's how like I wanted to conceptualize it.
are people
But I
questioning
went crazy.
Sam not being a villain? I mean, other than Sam,
Oh no, 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 no.
like he's 100% a villain. No one in this cast
Yeah.
is a hero. Maybe Megan, but Megan's done a few shady things.
Oh yeah, everyone's done a few shady things. Hey
I
man.
mean, she lied about a breakup for like 6 months.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty evil. I'll give her that. And probably maybe one of the evilest things this season. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, other than like faking screenshots and well, allegedly faking screenshots. Oh yeah, this is what I was going to ask earlier when you mentioned like showing text message to Bailey. I feel like Bailey just selectively picks what ones she accepts are real and just chooses which ones like no, I'm not going to believe those.
I'm not gonna believe those. It's funny because like here's evidence, but Sam's like, no, it's not. I'm like, oh yeah, no, it's not. And I'm like, oh yeah, here's text of me. Here's a conversation I had with maybe Megan. Oh yeah, there's this axis of evil. Let's go spread it out to the world and ruin a bunch of people's games.
Yeah, ruined almost everybody in that game. I mean, Megan's still trucking along. She's still there. The
Oh
sole
yeah.
member of the evil alliance.
Oh yes. Yeah, she did better than all of us.
Yeah, it's like Bailey's playing a good game, but she doesn't know that she is or how to deal with it.
Yeah, I don't think she was ready for the power, but she got consumed by it. It's like, there's a parallel between like what happened with me in season 2 and getting all the power as a leader. And I was like, oh, I can blindside Daniel, right? And then, she has the opportunity for all this power to flip from 8 to 7, just because she's scared of Nick, Sarah, a bunch of other people, I guess.
Yeah, she's upset over the Jesse move, but here's two things that don't make sense. One, let's say Lucy and Jackson did go home, Jesse would have just gone home in the next tribal. Because it would have been Leia, Andrew, and Jesse instead of Lucy, and Cooper would have just done his phantom vote thing.
Yep.
Two, Andrew also voted Jesse, and is not getting any punishment for it.
Nope.
I've been saying this thing where
Nope.
it's like Andrew and Adam are playing the exact same game, it's just one's a gay version, the other's a straight version. Because both of them have not done anything in the game. Both of them this past episode have been super annoying. Both of them are attached to a much better player that they're saying that they're going to turn on, but never will.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, kind of
Oh.
Emily B as well, but she's the girl version of it. It's like,
Hey,
here's
bears
three
and flies,
versions.
right?
Exactly. It's like, here's three different ways of how to play the exact same way: straight version, gay version, girl version. Everything is covered.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's like it's also hard because like you know like we tell it to people's faces, right? At least I did. And like I talk when AJ and I worked together for
Double
for
tribal?
the double tribal, like we come up to this agreement. It was like, why are we all lacking to them? Like, why don't we just vote them out, right? But people would rather feel safe than get a point on the resume.
Yeah, I mean, people want to keep those shields till Final Four and then vote them off at the very
Mm-hmm.
last seconds. Which I get. We've seen it like how many times on the actual show, but to a certain point, it just gets so predictable. Like when everyone tells you, yeah, we're flipping next week, and nobody does anything about it.
Yep. You hear it just like it's like you're just talking to a brick wall at that point. It's like
Yeah,
here's an opportunity. You can have numbers, disagree with people, but I think it's also hard because a lot of people's decision making was tied to another person, whether it was their closest ally, their bear as a fly, or like just even some other flies. Because I think what was it? Crouch probably doesn't do anything unless like he's with doing it with Cooper. AJ would talk to Bree sometimes, and they never could come to an agreement, or Bree would rather shut it down. Emily would always go to Bailey about doing something unless it was to blindside her, which she valued was not the right time, and she wasn't really ready to flip on anyone else. So yeah, I don't know. I think again, we're all like hypocritical. Oh, there's Akshay.
hi, Akshay. Most
Hey,
pressing
Akshay.
question: how lucky is he to have Emma as his girlfriend?
Aw, good question. Oh, she's great. Big fan of her. Oh, I'm getting
She's
tests.
able to handle the. She's able to handle the chaos. I know. I remember watching the after show. A lot of people were comparing your bears and flies talk to from Winners at War, which I don't think was either airing or didn't air at the time, where Jeremy and Tony were talking about lions and hyenas, where the hyenas
Mm-hmm.
circle the lions and wait for them to kill each other and then pounce on the prey.
Yeah, I definitely coined the bears versus flies first. I don't
Yeah,
think.
a lot of things happened in Michigan first before it actually came on the real show.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things that didn't. And I mean, the whole like say a word at the tribal council, that was something, it was fun like seeing it happen in 41, 42, and we were like, oh, hey, we did this already.
Yeah. And the whole the person at Final Tribal Council that doesn't get votes for the winner and breaks the tie.
Mm-hmm. Yep, yep.
Or in Lucy's case, becomes the winner.
Lucy Case becomes the winner. Oh yeah. Oh man, it must be brutal watching all these like fan favorites back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah, I mean,
This was
definitely
not
since the
gonna be good.
Lucy vote. Actually, even before the Lucy vote, like The Jackson vote, the Aaron vote, the Dylan vote was tough.
Hmm.
Like even the Akshay vote was like, whoa, like wow.
Oh man. Yeah, see, I was that's when I knew the season was going awry, I think, if I was looking at my notes because I don't know if I was in Megan's ear at that time because she caught me searching for an idol, but I kept
Oh
telling
yeah, when
her,
she went to visit Jackson.
yeah, man, no, there was like a lot of like side conversations that I had that weren't filmed or didn't make the show because they weren't important, but I was really trying my best to get Sam out in that tribe, and it never came to fruition. It got close,
Yeah.
but I wasn't a leading
Oh,
actor in those. I was just a noise. I was a fly in those
he was.
scenarios.
Yeah. The one thing I'm always shocked about with this alliance is I'm still remembering those phone calls that either you had with Bailey or Bailey had with someone where she says Sam gets away with everything and everyone just lets him. And now she's just doing the same thing.
Oh man. Yep, yep, yep.
Full control. In season two, you had full control until you went home. In season five, you basically had no control other than the will vote. Which season was more fun for you?
No, yeah, no, I think season five because I was smiling at the end of it, and I think season two I was kind of like, damn it, messed up big. I mean, there's a reason why my intro sequences like should have played my actual idol. My one disappointing act in season five, I guess, was being unable to find an idol. That's for sure. I worked really hard, and so did a lot of other people, because I had a lot of clues, like of the first initial clues, but Pringle Idol got out of my way because I didn't search there. North Campus, I was on the wrong side of North Campus, and I didn't want to
The
look under people's seats.
You didn't even find one of Jackson's 20 fake idols?
I actually did not. Never did.
Wow. Oh, he must have hid them too well. Or just stopped hiding them.
Yeah, I mean, my season two one was hidden in a pot, so that one was not too bad.
I mean, you were the first Michigan person ever to be voted off with an idol, and now it seems to be becoming a trend. I mean, Aliza was voted off
Doesn't
with
it? Yeah.
one. Nick was voted off with one.
Hmm.
Um, does anybody probably Emily and or Andrew will be voted off with one?
I don't know.
I
We'll
kind
see.
of I kind of want somehow in some world both of them get voted off and the mystery just never be solved. Like we will
Oh
never
God, that
know
would
who
be
has the
it would be so mean. It would be so mean.
Ian, I know you're watching. Make it happen. If you really want the fans to hate you, it's not because of the cliffhanger. It's not because of the hour and a half episode that could have been cut by pretty much half the time. It's never bringing the
Um,
result of this whole Pringle Idol situation. Let us never know who actually has it.
yeah. Let's lie about me having it for like an hour of a what was it? The the cliffhanger episode.
Yeah, I think it was like we thought you had it for about 20 minutes and then it was revealed. No,
Hmm.
but you never had an idol to begin with.
No.
Had the thought
No.
of your mind out? Do you still have your idol that you never played?
No, it's lost in the world somewhere.
It went back to the pot.
Yeah, it went back somewhere. It went back for Ghost Island in like what season 20 of Survivor Michigan.
Season 20, season 16. I'm sure it's in the works somewhere. There's enough.
Somewhere.
I say we're waiting for enough people to be voted off with idols to bring in the Ghost Island. Because right now the counters are three. We need to get a few more people.
A little bit, yeah. Maybe in the future seasons. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe season 6, season 7, season 8, season 6.5, if that's a thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can count those ones as
6.5.
well.
You could try to think. Yeah, but we don't remember those point five ones really well.
Oh, Akshay
It's-
has your idol.
oh wow. Yeah.
Why didn't you
It
play
would
it at the first tribal?
be
Problem. It was
Oh, wow. I'm getting some lore about that idol now. Cool, cool. I had no idea.
Yeah, there's a lot of lore behind some of these Michigan idols. Like that whole fake one that Jack found in like a mailbox, but it was like, no, just a random tiki necklace. And
It's
now
just
it's like
random.
that for some reason was in the mailbox.
Yeah. Hopefully, maybe the Lorax will come back one day.
Yeah, the Lorax. I was about to say the Leaf Crown, but that's a different college survivor.
Uh, yeah. It's crazy though. Like, I touched about like I made a reference in one episode about like Survivor Maryland, I think. And what's funny is like before I became a Survivor fan, I actually watched I think like College Survivor Maryland the summer before I was a freshman at the University of Michigan.
Oh,
And
cool.
basically that's what started the whole like Bailey and I's relationship, I believe, because I think I brought it up like first when I joined season two. I was like, hey, I watched this. She was like, oh, I did too. And that's how it
Lots
started, and then it ended as Social Losers with Survivor, right?
of, I wish they somehow. I want someone to go on the real show and just scream "Social Winners of Survivor" right here. Like if I somehow ever
Uh,
get on the show in some miracle, I'm just like going to quote like a whole bunch of like college survivor stuff, like "fuck your friends," "cool Victoria," "social winners of Survivor," "check your emails."
check your, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
trying to think of a fourth one. It's
yeah, I
personal.
don't know.
Don't talk to me.
It's personal. All your expectations are dropped because the girl's a dumbass.
Yeah.
Uh,
Who is she without her sorority? Like she's not. What is it that you said about Lucy? Where it's like she's not even in Scrap It anymore.
she's not even in Scrap. Who are you?
Imagine
uh,
being a part of a group.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. My confessionals are just always off the cuff. Like I go into like a different scheme of things. I think like how I put it to other people was like it's like I'm back in like a Call of Duty lobby when I was in middle school, right?
Oh, the old Call of Duty days.
Oh yeah, because I think the one thing that got me excited about confessionals, like watching College Survivor, was like, oh, I can be off the cuff and riff however I want, no filter, even to the extent of being extensively mean.
I wouldn't say extensively mean. Like, I don't know if it's just because I know Americans tend to be more sensitive than over here, but I don't think anything you said was like that bad.
Yeah, if anything, all of them are based in like some sort of truth that I believe in, and I'll say curse words here and there. I've got a potty mouth, a sailor mouth, but mm, I don't really regret anything I did say. Um, I don't think character Kevin would be sorry about what he said.
Whereas there any confessionals that you were like, okay, whereas like somebody talking about you
No, not at all.
or
I every time
surprised to
anybody would
see.
like shit talk me. No, anytime someone could shit talk me, like even like he's the stupidest survivor player ever. I was like, "You damn right," and I always had a good time with it because you know, for me, because like I always played like I have a good job or a good way of separating like this survivor game versus like my reality, my real self. Hopefully, so I mean, you saw it from Bailey. Like Kevin has a good heart. Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
rather not talk about Survivor in conversations with people than actually talk about Survivor.
yeah. It's like, it's like yeah, that was a fun time. Let's talk about something real.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one confessional about you I always remember is Cooper's just standing in his house eating a bowl of cereal and he's talking about how you only vote off your allies.
Yeah.
It's like everyone you vote off is like your ally or like would
Mhm.
work with you in some way.
Oh yeah. It's not smart. It's not good gameplay. I only do it in
No.
Survivor Michigan too.
Yeah, I think almost every person you voted for was a somewhat ally. The only one I would say
Hmm.
not is when you vote for Sam, but even then you temporarily worked with his lapdog.
I worked with his laptop, yeah. But
Yeah, so by association.
it's by guilt, yeah, voting by association, I guess. But I always felt that. the AJ and I working together for the Bears and Flies operation was not really had a lot of Sam impact. But Sam is really good at like that one job, sending sending his lackey Adam to do his bidding, his evil bidding, right?
I mean, Adam's doing all this work and Sam's getting all this credit, and people are just getting
Right.
annoyed with Adam. So like at
That's
one
what
point
lackeys
you're
are
like,
for.
at one point you're like, come on, Sam, you're letting this guy do all the work for you. Another and you're just like, Sam getting all the credit, Adam's getting all the blame. Is it smart or is it lazy, or is it both?
I don't know.
Oh, one last
Yeah.
thing I kind of want to bring up. We meant it was mentioned a while ago, and while you're bringing up Adam, the whole scribbling at the idle clue and putting it in your oven.
Oh yeah, that situation. I wish I filmed it. I chose not to film it, but yeah. I think yeah, the story is like pretty simple, right? I thought, it's like they never said you couldn't move the book out of the library because how I thought about it was like, you know, better ask for forgiveness, right, than ask for permission. And so I was like, I
Yeah,
can take the book out of the library, but still have the Ida clue in there. And then I read, online that nail polish, but baking it instead of like nail polish and rubbing it was the way to go. But it showed some letters, but I think they damaged it so much, as well as like reapplying the black sharpie over it again, that
yeah,
there was no way I could come out of that with like any sort of semblance of like how that idol clue was gonna
yeah. You had
work.
no idea you had to say Apollo.
No idea. Nope.
Were y'all just confused when you just, for some reason, Adam was just like talking about the Apollo 13 disaster?
Oh, I think I was zoned out pretty much. I was like, what is he talking about? And then I don't really remember too much about that because then like Sam what attacked me in the whole will
Yeah,
vote
yeah,
situation at the same tribal to miss I guess Nick or yeah, the target.
yeah. It was to miss Nick, but Nick was just too busy focusing on Sam's fake idol around his neck to he forgot to play the idol.
Oh yeah. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, well, I guess we should listen to Shannon. Don't trust frat boy ovens.
Don't try yeah. It was disgusting. I will say that's for sure. Um what was more disgusting was eating tofu in that frat kitchen during the scavenger hunt. Ugh.
Oh yeah, more disgusting than cleaning up Cooper's house.
Cooper's house was fine because I mean, like, I lived in a fraternity at the time, so I've seen
Oh
worse.
yeah, oh yeah. Is it really that bad as all the stereotypes put it up to be?
It's not the worst place to live. I've definitely seen worse. I think where I was pretty okay slash less than okay, but other fraternities, oh, they're a sty. There's this horror story I heard where like a fraternity house had like its oven, or no, its fridge like unplugged for 3 months in the summer and nobody checked on it, and then yeah, you can imagine
Ooh,
what happened there. Uh-huh.
yeah. Now I'm happy we don't have those over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all can keep the Greek life over there. We'll stick to our
All right. I'm
societies and our
sure.
clubs.
uh, Might be dying
So you
sometime
get,
soon, though. We'll see.
yeah, it's nice. A lot of fields, a lot of castles. They say
Ooh,
like when
that's
you
what we're
come
missing.
here, yeah, like if you come here, you don't really need to like book a tour. Just rent a car and drive around the countryside. You'll see castles for free.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, castles, old churches, farmers. Just avoid the back roads. They're very narrow.
Will do.
Yeah, that's the thing over here. Our roads are super narrow.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
Yeah, because when I went over to the states, I had a ex um, my ex came over here and all he did was complain about the roads. And when I went over there, I was like, "Oh, I get why you kept complaining. These roads are huge. Also, why is every car dented?"
Every car's dented. People suck at driving, man.
Oh yeah, it was horrible, and it was in New Jersey, no less.
Oof. I can imagine.
Well, thanks, Kevin, for coming on. Again, sorry that this is so late.
No problem. Glad you could have me. Hope I answered a good amount of questions. I think it was a
Yeah,
good talk, good live stream.
hope you had a good time. Thanks everyone for watching. If you want to watch more Survivor Michigan, subscribe to their YouTube channel. Um, Maybe don't watch the most recent episode. Watch the episode before that. It stars this guy right
Yeah.
here. And
Go
keep
ahead. Yeah.
watching keep watching the series. Don't be one of these people that's going to like, this episode was so bad, I'm going to stop watching the series. Keep watch. Just hate watch the season.
Watch the season.
You can still complain about it.
Yeah.
Just keep watching it.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering where the person that was voted off in the most recent episode is, they will be coming later in the week, not later today. I need to sleep. Thanks again for coming on, and we'll see you guys next time for another Survivor Michigan recap podcast.